Hey, it's Lancaster. Just a quick message today. As you get ready to start chapter 12, it's on alcohol and drugs and other drugs. And that's the thing one of the reasons why I have this image, this meme that I have, um, is because oftentimes we don't really think about alcohol as a drug because it's something that we typically don't have too much of a problem with people using, right? So I want us to recognize that this chapter is about social problems in relationship to drugs. Alcohol is a drug. Um, Caffeine is a drug. Aspirin is a drug. It's all really, when we think about drugs, we tend to always go to the illegal aspect. So think about what a drug is. A drug is any substance whose properties produce a psycho or physiological change or alter in your body. Okay, so in the morning when you drink your coffee, that caffeine is something that is altering your experience. Okay, so you have to recognize that that drugs can be legal, they can be illegal, they can be medical, they can be recreational, and ultimately they can be anywhere from caffeine to cocaine or even more. Okay, so this chapter is really talking about how the social and physical context of our society, right, can shape how we view drug use, drug abuse, and drug addiction. Okay, so we really want to step back and recognize that there are some differences in these terms. Okay, so just make sure that you look at what is the difference between drug use, drug abuse, and drug addiction. Recognize what's the problem and what's not. Drug use is all around us. Okay, sometimes we don't have a problem with it. However, it really comes back to the context, right? Having a glass of wine at a dinner party is totally fine. But having a glass of wine or a beer, right, at your child's Christmas presentation at school, not okay, right? It's all about the context of the situation at times. So we have these norms that have been created to define what's acceptable and what is not, okay? So recognizing that there are actually some things in our society in which we we actually positive reinforce certain aspects of drug use, such as like happy hours and things like that at bars where they're trying to get people to come in to actually drink during those times, right? Tailgating parties, of course, COVID is changing some of those contexts. Just kind of really thinking about context. So while reading through this chapter, you'll be learning a little bit about the war on drugs. It's been a long time, right, that people have had this fight. The phrase was coined with Nixon, okay? And the reality is every president since has had some sort of aspect on this war on drugs. So we want to just kind of recognize that it is a matter of a war, right? We have to step back and think about what exactly is this war about. I will say that Nixon, a lot of research that I have done in a lot of different documentaries and different things that I have seen about Nixon, he was really much more about rehabilitation than punishment. However, society doesn't like that so much. He is briefly discussed in one of the videos that I have shared with you this week. I've shared quite a few, and I hope that you'll take the time to watch each of those because I do think that they're very helpful. There's a really great documentary that I used to share in class. It's called The Place I Live In. I'm sorry, A House I Live In. And it is about the war on drugs and how we've gotten how our prisons are full of individuals based around crime, based around drugs. So if you can get a chance to watch that, that might be a great one for your next documentary series. I actually own it, but I can't share it because for some reason my disk doesn't let me share it as a thing. We'll be looking at drug treatment. You want to look at how the cost of drugs on society, and it is not just about the abuse. Okay, we really want to step back and think about drugs differently. Most of us have these expectations of what we really consider drugs as a problem, when maybe it's something that we've been taught, right? Remember, reinforced with the norms of society. All drugs at some point in time were not, right? Tobacco has been something that we have banned over years. But I'm like, realistically, when I think about tobacco, when I was young, it was very normal for people to smoke everywhere, right? And all of the time. And there were actually women, when they were pregnant, they were told to smoke, because it would keep them from gaining too much weight. Alcohol, even, there's been mindsets of changes of the way alcohol is viewed in relationship to pregnancy as well. But we'll talk about that in the health chapter. We'll look at patterns of drug use, whether it's men or women, who uses more. There's a certain amount of racial connections and ethnic connections, so that whole intersectionality of use of drugs. Okay? And again, I say use because there's a lot more use than there is abuse. Okay? Theories this week talk about functionalism. The book talks about conflict theory, talks about some of the specialized theories or the social learning theories. Social learning theory is a symbolic interactionist perspective where it talks about how you learn certain behaviors. Okay? General strain theory is an extension of strain theory from Merton's strain theory. But that's actually an accumulation of multiple strains is what general strain theory talks about. Now, we have the more strain we have, the more accumulations of that, the more it impacts us, the potential that we will be deviant, right? And that's how they're talking about this in relationship to drugs. And there is, of course, self-control theory. That one talks really about socialization. It's the general theory of crime. And then the last one, social disorganization theory, that we've talked about before. I will say self-control theory is a theory that could be easily disputed because it is talking about, I just want to kind of come back to that because I kind of skipped over it because I didn't want to really touch on it too much. But social control theory is a theory that basically says improper socialization is what causes people to use drugs. Okay. We could really argue against that very easily with even individuals that we know, right? So kind of step back, try to remember to step outside of your own personal experiences with drug use, drug abuse, drug addiction, whether it be yourself or a family member or a friend, right? Recognize that this, again, as a social issue and a social concern, some of or all of actually the videos that I am sharing with you should challenge your potentially challenge what you've been taught by society as the norms of drugs. So again, for this week, make sure that you read the chapter, do your issues and controversies assignment, post your discussion board early so that you have plenty of time in order to get those responses. Watch the videos that I have shared. Let me know if you have any questions, and don't forget to take your quiz. All right. Have a great day.